The internet is absolutely full of myths and urban legends about space and just about everything else. So readers must be skeptical these days. Welcome to Why Wonder Now. Today we're going to be talking about the moon landing theory. Before we get started, make sure you click the subscribe button and give us a big thumbs up. So, what are the moon landing conspiracy theories? Between 1969 and 1972, 12 NASA astronauts walked on the moon. But in the decades since Apollo 11 astronauts first set foot on the moon, many theories have been put forward claiming that the whole Apollo program was staged. However, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter has since released photos of the landing sites as they appear on the lunar surface many years later. Many questions of the theory popped up throughout the next couple decades. But some of the main questions moon landing deniers asked were, why are there no stars in the sky in the moonwalkers' photos? Why are the US flags fluttering on the surface? Why do you see footprints in the pictures but no marks from the lunar modules that landed there? NASA has answered all these questions, which we will dig into more later. Another main common argument is that the crosshairs that appear in many Apollo images sometimes appear to be behind the object in the photos. If the images were real, this would be impossible, suggesting someone painted them on. But although us humans made a very good point, testing here on Earth has shown that the brightly lit objects make the crosses appear fainter. When these images are copied or scanned, some of this detail is lost completely, giving the effect that the crosshair is behind the object in certain shots. Let's go back to some of the other questions that were mentioned earlier. It turns out those questions are easy to answer than you may think. There are no stars in the sky for the same reason you don't see stars during the day on Earth. According to NASA, the bright glow of daylight on the surface washes them out. US flags that were planted into the lunar soil had metal rods sewn into them to appear as they were moving. According to NASA, without these wires, these flags would have hung straight down, making for a pretty lackluster photo prop. Oh, and the lunar modules, though heavier, didn't put prominent marks in the surface in some places because their mass was more evenly distributed than the astronauts' weight was in the boots. Even after all of these explanations for NASA, some people actually believe NASA's whole function is not to explore space, but to generate space-related hoaxes. The Apollo moon landing is a famous example that we'll explore in the next slide. People who believe this conspiracy sometimes flagged with the hashtag hoax123. Social media will say that amazing space pictures of Mars, Pluto, or even Earth are fake. They say the photos are computer-generated imagery, also known as CGI. Since then, NASA has launched hundreds of satellites into orbit around Earth, the Moon. In several other worlds, in fact, NASA spacecrafts have orbited, flown by, or landed on every planet in the Milky Way galaxy. NASA also sends astronauts into orbit, where they conduct research at the International Space Station, also known as ISS, now for the non-believers out there. What some people say is the final nail in the coffin of the moon. Theories is a simple instrument installed 50 years ago by the Apollo 11 crew during their day on the moon. Armstrong and Aldrin planted a lunar, laser-ranging, retroreflector arrays on the surface on the moon. It's still optional today and allows us to reflect lasers off of it and measure the distance to the moon down to the centimeter. We simply couldn't do this if we haven't visited the moon. So what do you think? Do you think it was a hoax so NASA could make the big bucks, or was it one of man's greatest accomplishments ever to be done? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching Why Wonder Now,